Okay, I wanted to get into a little bit of this because I don't know much about it, but it is apparently everybody's going nuts over this Pokemon thing. Are you familiar? I remember Pokemon when my kids were like 3. So this is an app. Do you know what this is?
Yeah, it's Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go, and it's an app for your cell phone, your smartphone, and it is, I don't know, they're saying police are worried that people are being put into dangerous places. It's basically a cell phone, correct me if I'm wrong, it's basically a cell phone scavenger hunt, where you hold on to your phone. You ever watch these people that are walking down the street and they're reading their text messages like they bump into a wall?
Yeah.
That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
So you could go to a location and once you grab, I'm probably not using the right terminology. If somebody knows more about this, let me know. 736-0186. But Christine, do you know more about it?
I know a little bit. Here's what I know. You take a picture, you kind of like you take a video in front of you, you look at the area in front of you.
And it places the character in a real time. So you have a picture of the studio, and all of a sudden you're looking at the radio studio, and there's a Pokemon that you can grab.
Right.
And capture. Is it capture the right word?
I don't know. You kind of collect them, but you could look at the studio right now and it'll tell you, okay, there's an oddish in the studio, and eventually it will pop up if you keep looking, and it might take several minutes for you to keep looking in the studio. But what they're saying is that people are getting distracted, and like in a public place they're doing this and they're not paying attention to anything around them.
Right, and you're seeing big crowds of people showing up for, there was one story I saw yesterday that had people showing up in a delivery room where somebody was giving birth to a baby. Here's when you're walking. This is the walking music. Okay, that's enough of that. Here's Conan O'Brien's take on Pokemon Go.
Before we get started, I just have to ask, how many of you are here to see this show, and how many of you were lured here by a Pokemon character?
Okay, that's kind of what's going on, is you end up being lured to places by the game.
So can you explain this? You're being lured there. So there are directions for you to go to the corner of Genesee Street and Bleecker, or like what is that?
Imagine if I did this thing once where we had a scavenger hunt, and we placed, and one of the scavenger hunt items was in a local grocery store, and the item was placed, and we gave a clue, but it was on a shelf and it was taped to an actual box inside a grocery store, like I think it was a macaroni and cheese box or something. So you had people going to these grocery stores with the sole intention of going into the mac and cheese aisle and trying to find, and they're looking behind the boxes, and it caused quite a bit of a disturbance. So that's kind of what, Christine, correct me if I'm wrong.
But you were directing people there.
But the game, in this case, it's the game that does the directing. Yeah, okay. People are walking around and they're following their phones, and they're walking out into the middle of the street and they're getting hit by a car. Or there's some criminal activity involved too, they say, right? There's some
that they can put, that somebody can hack into it and put a Pikachu in the corner of wherever and have a whole bunch of people go over there unsuspecting, and then they can be the victims.
And my son was telling me yesterday that you actually, if you sign up on this and you have like Google Drive or you have your email, that your email can be hacked into. Mm-hmm. That the game basically has in order to play the game, it has control of your camera, it can take control of your email, and it can get into your Google Drive, which opens that door up for hackers, I'm told. I don't know. Andrew?
So as you're saying all of this, I look on my Facebook feed. Pokemon Go is a government surveillance conspiracy.
Okay. Jim Zecca, come on. Enough. Enough. Tim Reed is in. Do you know anything about this Pokemon
how about the girl
thing?
that found the dead body?
Yeah.
That was quite a surprise.
In the news yesterday.
Look at me capture that.
So is this Pokemon Go the reason there were 13,000 people running through the city of Utica over the weekend? They were all searching for Pikachu or something?
Here's Jim. This is Jim Zecca. I saw a kid in the neighborhood distracted with a large smartphone in his hand, walking and taking pictures. He was completely oblivious to what was going on around him. And
That was Andrew.
That is the game, and that was Andrew Dominio. Yeah. Well, crazy stuff. These, but it's the latest craze. Everybody's on this thing. Everybody's talking about it. Just kind of like this past weekend. Everybody's in the Boilermaker. Everybody's talking about it.
Now it's passed along.
I loved how you said this year's Boilermaker was uneventful.
Yep.
Now, most people would look at that and say, another basher. Why do you have to be so negative?
Another hater.
Another hater. In reality, though, you're saying that, no, for you, that's a positive.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I did not want to diminish in any way, shape, or manner the accomplishments that everyone did in regards to their goals or whatever. But from my side of the house, the less that I hear bad things that happen in regards to it, I mean, I want to be the Maytag repairman. You want me to be the Maytag repairman.
Yeah, you don't want
no, not the media.
Huge
activity. Something.
We love a good story.
Oh yeah, good story.
Yeah. I got to tell you that officially, can we ask? Are we now saying that the Boilermaker has been officially rained on, or does this not constitute rain?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it really wasn't that bad. It was a misty shower.
Was misty.
That was actually advantageous to the runners.
Does mist constitute rain?
I would say that there are
meteorologists here.
Meteorologists
Andrew Dominio. I would say there's more rain-like devices along the course than there was in the first 2 miles of the run on Sunday.
I don't know. I know the runners weren't there yet, but when they were at mile marker 2 and 3, we were at the finish line, and it was coming down a little bit. I mean, I would say it was raining.
For a brief time in the 8 o'clock hour, it was coming down. It was raining.
A brief time. Now, obviously, there were no runners. Maybe there's some 5K runners there.
Well, because the 5K starts at 7:15.
Right. So
I would say from the start.
I'm saying that's a light rain.
Manaski really advocating for the Boilermaker has been rained on.
He's raining on my parade.
I would say no, because from start to finish, it wasn't raining the entire time.
Imagine,
unless there's a flood.
Listen, I got to tell you though. Imagine if the downpours like the day before. I mean,
Lord.
we can certainly say the expo has been rained on.
Yeah. Well, the volunteer party was. I mean, we had to actually. We weren't sure what was going to happen. We took the stage and put it inside the tent. Thank God we did, because it came down hard on Friday.
Yeah. So and Saturday.
Yeah, we were fortunate. We were a little nervous about the kids' run because there was a potential for thunder and lightning.
Yeah,
but it wasn't bad.
It seemed okay early, and then I was in Syracuse all day for a graduation party on Sunday. And every lawn is brown. Mm-hmm. They're complaining that they haven't had rain in weeks in Syracuse. Now, that's a 45-minute drive down the thruway. They've not had rain in weeks. And while I was there was a brief sprinkle, but it didn't rain all day on Saturday. And the sun was, it was an overcast sun and clouds. It was that kind of day in Syracuse.
Well, to Jeff's point in regards to, I think, really the sporadic nature of the rain in regards to it, where I was for the race, I was sitting there and it was dark.
Yeah,
and not just because I was in a room. Thank you.
Yeah.
But but I was watching the feed, and at the finish line, there were blue skies breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see that at all.
It was not it was this where it could be raining in West Utica and the sun could be shining in East Utica.
Exactly.
And that's literally
that's
what
it
was going on. Yeah. So I do want to say that with the cloud cover, because there was plenty of cloud cover for the post race party. Mm-hmm. When I looked out, it dawned on me, just as the national anthem had ended and the planes were going over. Had you used the Air Force jets,
right?
We would have heard them, never would have seen them.
Exactly. They would have been just.
The clouds were so low, but these World War II era planes were able to come in underneath the clouds,
right?
And they told us that coming in, we're going to get really low. You're going to see us, and sure enough, we did. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, it was.
It made it for the first time where you can say, I think this is a better option than the big jet flyover.
Well, you know, if only the person that was in charge in that backstage area in regards to the script could have controlled Senator Schumer, everything.
It was not easy. It was not easy.
I don't know.
How about him going into the crowd?
He's a character.
Give me some love.
He's a character.
And I wonder, what are these signs? They're holding signs up that say, meet Senator Schumer. And so we had gotten the call that he wasn't going to be up on stage, so we started later, knowing that he usually takes up some airtime.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, the mayor is on, and all of a sudden, Schumer comes running in, and he's like, "I told you I'd be here. Right. Here I am." I'm like, "Oh,
here
my
I am
God.
to save the day."
Well,
Chuck loves the race, and it's great. It's great that he takes the time out in regards to it for us. So it's all good.
All right.
I wanted to just say one other thing.
Sure
too,
you
if
do.
that's okay, about the spectators, and this has always been, one of the things that I've talked about in the past. In past years, maybe because of threat of rain or whatever, it has kept people away. But this year, I couldn't believe how many people in some stretches of the race where you almost felt, as a runner, in a good way, claustrophobic. I couldn't believe it. In some spots of the course, you'd never see spectators. You saw tons. So,
and I don't know your exact numbers on spectators, and I don't know that you have a way to really come up with that number.
Right.
But that post-race party was more jam-packed this year than I've ever remembered it.
Yeah, it looked like it was.
There wasn't an open spot anywhere.
Right.
To the side, all the way to the back, it was jamming. So.
And those are the things we look at in regards to, next year's the 40th anniversary.
Yeah,
it's a big
gonna
year.
Be big.
Big year.
Yeah.
Video of the post-race party, by the way, from the FX Matt roof on our Facebook page.
Oh, good.
It's everyone's an ant.
So he was up there until the security shot him.
They grabbed him.
They shot him down. He was shot right off the roof. Yeah. Okay, so anything on this year? Because we'll move to next year. I want to just briefly talk about what's coming next year. Because you're already, basically, you take a breather this week.
Right.
And then you're underway.
Yeah, we're underway.
Yeah.
And actually, some of the stuff's already being planned.
Wow. Just quickly, 2,500, no shows or no finishes, right? Because roughly 11.5. I know I'm rounding up.
That number, it's funny, Jeff, because that number, I was looking at the past 5 years, and I wish I'd brought him in regards to it. It always hovers around that number.
I was
whatever we have signed up for, for 14,000.
You have 14,000 signed up,
and it's like it's always around 11,500 or whatever it is. That's the number. We had 1,600 deferrals.
You wake up with a headache. You had more than pasta the night before.
You had your post race party the day before.
Right. So these things all happen, and I think that when you're dealing with 14,000 people, to have 2,500 not make it in, I don't think that's a surprise.
Well, and for all races, to be honest with you, those numbers are baked in to figure that.
Yeah.
If everybody did show up, I don't think we'd be. I mean, everyone knows that not everyone's going to show up, so you build it around that.
What are you going to do for next year? 40th. Come on, let's get to it.
Oh, Mr. Keeler,
I want to know.
Well,
it's a big anniversary.
It's going to be a celebration of 40 years of Boilermaker history.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not insignificant. I mean, we're kind of an older race if you think about it. We've been around for a long time, so we're going to try to make the best of it.
Yeah. 40 years, and you've watched it grow from just a small beginning.
We have 10 people left who have done all the races.
Runners.
Wow. Runners. And what's amazing is a lot of those folks did not start as young people. I mean, Wayne Decker, who we lost this year, he's still alive. I mean, he just didn't run this year.
Yeah.
But
thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, just Wayne.
His family appreciates
You're still alive. So, his first race he was 42 years old.
Wow.
1978. So think about that.
Yeah.
So he ran it at the age of 80 last year.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And then he had quadruple bypass, and the doctor said probably
enough is enough.
That's enough of that. Thank you.
Well, listen, it's very interesting to watch people and what this means to different groups and different families and parties and It's really a great. It's a reuniting weekend for everybody.
Reunited weekend.
And Utica. So
And I think
another one's in the books.
Yeah, it is, and I think one of the things we are looking at actually though is the idea of talking about these people who have been there since the beginning. We have the same issue in regards to volunteers and things such as that in regards to it, and we are seeing a graying of the volunteer force.
Yeah.
And, how do you replenish it? I was saying to Ann Delaney yesterday, no organization deserves to exist. It only exists because it evolves, it does the things it needs to do to continue to survive. And that's, to me, is mission critical in regards to make sure that we're going to be around for another 40 years.
Pretty exciting. So we're already working on next year, and you're not going to even slip out a little something.
No, I'm not. Although Manaski better start working on that meatball eating. Gee whiz!
Did you see me?
I saw it on the feed.
Yeah, on the Facebook feed.
I saw it on the Facebook feed.
Don't get into a meatball eating contest with me.
I know
Yeah,
exactly.
Well,
I
say-
take
Well,
down like
I heard you're going to
Scooby
bring.
snacks.
I heard for next year you're bringing Carter with you, the mini me.
When Manaski says all in,
he's all in.
He really means it. He goes in head first. So, all right, good stuff. So,
All right, thanks,
congratulations on an uneventful
An
Boilermaker.
uneventful event.
We'll use that as a positive. I kind of like that. All right, and one last comment. How about this McKenna kid?
Well, I will say for this lad, he brings new meaning to the term "attack the course."
He attacks the course like he attacked somebody on the wrestling mat.
Oh my Lord! I was watching him finish, and I was sitting there watching it with some of the law enforcement, and we were just, he's special.
He's coming in the studio next.
I know. I
Be
want to get
careful
out
what
of here
you say,
before
'cause
he'll get me in a.
he'll
full
take
Nelson.
you out. He will.
That's it.
Yeah, he will. Legal or not,
Absolutely.
he's going for the full Nelson. All right, good stuff. Congratulations.
All right, thanks, guys.
By the way,
Appreciate
the McKenna kid is coming in just a minute. We're going to talk to him. Quick break. Hold on. We're coming right back. Christine does news as well, and WIBX.